Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch, and welcome to another top 10 list. If you enjoy these lists, may I suggest you hit the big subscribe button so you can enjoy a few more. Today it's my top 10 recommendations if you happen to have $500 burning a hole in your pocket and you want to buy a Japanese watch. Now, I have made a similar video in the past for Swiss watches, but there is one caveat with the Japanese stuff. These aren't all necessarily made in Japan, they're just all made by Japanese companies. Doesn't make a huge amount of difference though, to be honest, but if it does to you, then check the small print. As usual, I will leave links to all 10 watches in the order that I show them in the description of the video. As usual, I have included a full selection of watches, so dive watches, dress watches, chronographs, Gardas, etc, etc. Let's get on with it. And let's start with the watch on my wrist today. The watch that kind of inspired this video. This one simply had to be on this list. And we are right at the edges of the budget today, coming in at just under $500. It's the Citizen JV1007. I only picked up one of these for myself a couple of weeks ago, and honestly, I could not be more impressed by it. It is rock solid. These things are built fabulously well. It's big, but it still manages to be wearable, and it is packed full of features thanks to a super crisp, super versatile MIP LCD display. It's eco-drive, so it's solar powered, it never needs a battery. It's got a countdown timer, an alarm, a chronograph, and world time function. If one day the S does indeed HTF, I would be really tempted to grab this one as my apocalypse watch. I feel confident that it would outlast me in a doomsday scenario. And number two, it's a dive watch, or rather two dive watches. You're getting a 2-for-1 here. They're both Seikos. Seiko makes some of the best affordable dive watches on the market, and they have been doing so for the last 60 years. The best available in 2025, in my opinion, are the King Turtle and the King Samurai. Now, it's no coincidence that these are slightly older models. They've been around for 6 or 7 years now. You get the proven, reliable 4-arm movement. You get 200 meters of ISO rated divers certified water resistance. You get Seiko's proprietary Lumi Bright Loom. You get very wearable cases in 2 different styles, either curvaceous in the form of the Turtle or angular in the form of the Samurai. You take your pick. And crucially, with both of these watches, you get sapphire crystal, which you don't get from many other similarly priced Seiko divers. Talking of which, you should be able to pick up either of these either on a rubber strap or on a bracelet for well under $400. eBay is probably the place to go. Alright, and number 3, this is a general suggestion, but it is also a specific suggestion. I think if you're looking for a Japanese watch for under $500, especially if you're looking for one that is actually made in Japan, you should have a look at the Orient Star range. These are like kind of Orient Premium. Not quite Grand Orient, maybe more King Orient if you get my drift. Better finishing, better movements, better materials, but still within budget. One specific Orient Star that has caught my interest recently is this one, the RK AU0109L. I like this baby blue one, but they do it in a bunch of other different colors as well, all in and around the low $400 price point. As you can see from these photos, the case and bracelet are really, really nicely finished. You get applied indices, you get applied date frame, you get some lovely looking hands, and something that is a bit of an Orient specialty at this price point. A power reserve meter on the dial. I'm sure you can see that that meter goes to 50, so 50 hours power reserve, meaning the movement at the back of this one is a couple of rungs above the base level entry Epson in-house calibers, featuring elsewhere in Orient's range. And indeed, have a look at it. It's got a custom rotor. You can tell it's not entry level. Now, I admit Romans might not be to everyone's taste, so if you don't fancy this one, check out the others. The quality of these is really very good. Okay, I'll admit it, I'm getting a little bit twitchy. We're up to number 4 and I haven't recommended a Casio yet, so why don't I give you another 2-for-1? If you're looking for a super sensible, set and forget daily wear watch that will last you for decades, check out these 2 models from Casio's Oceanus line. Rather confusingly, the smaller S100 is made of titanium, while the larger T200 is made of stainless steel. You missed a trick there, Casio. They're similar, but they're quite different. The S100 is slightly smaller at 39mm, it's got curved sapphire, domed sapphire, and a more curvaceous case. The T200 is bigger at 41mm, it's heavier obviously because of the materials used, it has flat sapphire crystal, and generally a more angular case. Both watches though are finished far beyond the level you would expect for the price. Both watches can be picked up readily on eBay again for less than $400. Both of them are solar powered, both feature fantastic lume and radio control to ensure they are always at the right time. I cannot recommend these two watches highly enough. They are both awesome. It just depends on whether you prefer something slightly smaller and slightly lighter or slightly bigger and slightly chunkier. Alright, when it comes to chronographs, you're not short of options from all of the big brands. There are, however, two standouts in this sub $500 category, and I've included both on today's list. The first is the relatively new Seiko Speedtimer, and you have so many options to choose from here. For a start, there are two different sizes. There's a 39mm and a 41mm, and a whole bunch of different dial and bezel color combinations in each of the two sizes. Now, I have looked at both sizes, and I've personally bought two of the larger 41mm versions. I think that case size really suits a chronograph. Last year, I bought the stealthy all black one, and earlier this year, I bought the infamous Pogue color version with its golden yellow orange-ish dial. These are all solar powered, so again you barely need to set the movement, let alone change the battery, and they are accurate because they are quartz. Again, they feature sapphire crystal covering the dial, so they will look great for years. I highly rate these, and I have put my money where my mouth is now twice. I may as well tell you about the other chronograph now, hadn't I? It's the Citizen CA4610, aka the Forza. These launched last year and caused a bit of a stir. The quality, specifications and value for money that you're getting from Citizen these days is just ridiculous. These are made of titanium, or what Citizen calls super titanium, which is also coated to prevent scratches. And like the Seiko, the movement is solar powered, which means you never have to wind it, you never have to change the battery. Again, sapphire crystal covering the dial, there is lume on the hands and the indices, and it is available in some very modern colors like the turquoise blue that I chose, plus also a salmon pink as well. Both are available for well within today's self-imposed budget. Do shop around though for the best deals on these ones. It is slightly larger than the Speedtimer at 43mm, so at this price point, again, your personal size preference will probably guide you towards one watch or the other, but like I said, you can't go wrong with either. They are just outstanding for the money from Japan. Alright, next up is one of my favourite Japanese dress watches for around this price. And indeed, you get plenty of change left over for your $500. It's the Orient Bambino. Now, Bambinos start at around $160 and there are dozens to choose from, but I'm going to be very specific with my recommendation. I'm going to recommend the RAAC0M04Y10B. This is a 38.5mm central seconds hand version with the champagne / parchment dial, and I'm recommending this one because it is by far the best looking Bambino that I have reviewed, and I have reviewed a ton of them. You can find these for under $200 at Joma Shop. This is one of the more popular color versions though, and no wonder, it's beautiful. It's not a spec monster, it is a fairly basic Orient in-house caliber, not as nice as the one you just saw in the Orient Star, and unfortunately that domed crystal is not sapphire, it is just mineral. And if you don't enjoy the asymmetry of a 3 o'clock date position, I'm sorry, because the Japanese do. I mean, they really do seem to love a 3 o'clock date. There are dozens and dozens of different Bambinos, as I said, and yet there still is not a no-date option amongst them. But if you can look past that, it's just a perfect little mid-century dressy style piece that looks equally at home with jeans and a t-shirt as it does with suit and tie. And I guess while we're on a dressier note, next up is another watch that has become a bit of a channel hobby horse. It's the Seiko Presage Cocktail Time Irish Coffee. Seiko's Cocktail Time range started 10 years ago with a single model, and now there are dozens of them. There are almost as many cocktail times as there are cocktails. Perhaps unsurprisingly, due to the fact that I love both coffee and whiskey, I have gravitated towards this Irish coffee model. I love the dial, it is rich but it is subtle. I love the use of gold tone hands and indices. I love the fact that the strap is wearable straight out of the box. And I love the fact that I got one for 399 Australian dollars a couple of years ago. So again, do shop around to find the best deal on this one. But if you don't fancy it, then like I said, there are so many to choose from in pretty much every colour under the sun, and in a few different case sizes as well. Again, it's the 4R caliber in the back of these, which will run forever, but unfortunately, just like the Bambino, it's only mineral crystal on the front of these. So if you treat it roughly, it won't stay this pretty forever. So the best advice I can give you is, don't treat it roughly. 5 years ago, Tissot dropped a bomb on the affordable watch space with the PRX. Suddenly, integrated bracelet watches were hot again. Not to be outdone, Citizen fought back a couple of years later with the Suyosa. And you know what? It's at least as good as the PRX, plus it's cheaper, so that means it might even be better than the PRX. And it's an integrated bracelet watch that doesn't really look or feel like an integrated bracelet watch. It's available in a bunch of funky dial colours, and there's a small seconds option as well now that comes with a beautiful gear shade dial patterning. Now the Miyota 8000 series movements in these are okay, if nothing to write home about, but again the crystal is sapphire, so the Suyosa will continue to look fresh for years. What price for all of this loveliness? Well, Joma Shop have roughly 1 million of them, and you're looking at between 200 and 300 US dollars, depending on colour and variant chosen. Now, because it's a Citizen, if you buy it from an authorised dealer, you will get a 5-year warranty. That is by far the best warranty on any of the watches on today's list, so do check the small print when purchasing. And finally, if you are a channel regular, then you will know my personal taste in watches. You will also know that I could not have made this list without featuring a square G-Shock of some description. I think they are classic, I think they are iconic, and I think you can pick any one you like and it will do a great job for you. There is nothing wrong with any of them. But having said that, I'm going to recommend one in particular, and it's probably not necessarily the one you would have expected. It's the Casio DW5000R. It's not the cheapest and it doesn't have the best feature set, but there is a nostalgia value and a quality to the 5000 that cannot be beaten for the price. This was an almost perfect recreation of the first ever G-Shock from 1983 that was launched as an anniversary version. Now, it doesn't have radio control or Bluetooth. It has a slightly more basic module, but what it does have is a softer, more compliant resin case and band that you would get on a regular model, and a stainless steel core, meaning the 5000 has a bit more weight to it and a real feeling of quality as a consequence. Not quite the same feeling you get from the basic cheap resin Gs. Now, they all sold out on release, but they weren't a limited edition and they're now beginning to filter back into stock. I can pick one up here in Australia for 10% off the $349 RRP, and they are just over 200 US dollars on eBay. Like I said, not the cheapest, not the best spec, but a little bit special, I think, and therefore the one that I would recommend. So there you have it, another top 10 list. I always love making these videos. I always love digging through my old reviews and seeing just how many fantastic watches that I have looked at over the years, all fitting into this sub $500 price bracket. You seriously are unlikely to go too far wrong with any watch from the 4 big Japanese brands at this price point. I think some of the best, though, have been featured on today's list. It is a bit dive watch light though, but the 2 that were on there I think are pretty much the best in breed at the price. But did I miss your favourite? If I have, no doubt you will already be writing the comment. I look forward to reading them. And if you look forward to top 10 lists just like this one, here's another couple for you on the house. Thanks for watching, I'll see you again in the next one.